We hear it faintly now, a prayer of St.G. I will go unto the altar of God, to God the joy of my youth, the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. It is you who will deliver me from the selfhood of my life. For each day follows upon another in a scorching climate, where one would say all is barren. Yet we will seed and spring up. The springs of water will find us, who were all time parched in a wilderness. From far above one could see oceans of loneliness, vast brown deserts, and in some few places sprigs of green, so that what had been a stretched-out paradise collapsed to a coven of weariness, and the minds of men stayed there, where they remembered life. Born to a suckling joy, we increasingly despaired of life. All about were the same, so that it seemed a natural state, and the mind of man formed a rationale to fit it. All which remained to us was a promise which threaded itself through wars, flood, plagues, false idolatries, and exodi from captivity. There to a village in a nothingness world, to the weakest tribe, to the last breath of hope, was born the child, a hidden king, a quiet lord, whose joy was also in his youth, for in the end was sorrow. Your eternal privilege was to be God, and then to be the least of these thy brethren. The way was then plowed that we would lose ourselves to you. A garden would again spring up, and we its seed, and we its full flower. The sea was no more, and there were no brown and lonely places. A great brotherhood of man and God was formed, both on earth and in heaven. Now we live it consciously in small degree, but then in fullness of life. The youth of us returns in glorious embodiment. Also, promise did not cease, for each moment was a new moment, even that your full glory, which was hidden to us, was now revealed, so that it seemed the Lord sprung new life unto himself, for we were greatly loved. Of a sudden we had no thought for ourselves, but only for our brothers and sisters, and to be a faithful bride unto the Lord. All which was said was then remembered, how that the song of Solomon was sung to us. We hear it faintly now. What distant voice was of a sound so sweet? Then to whisper, then to sigh, then to groan for all our troubles. Why then is there despair? We so easily forget you in our consuming self, and it seems to be necessary to stay above the flood and plagues and wars. The burden of it is not as great as we suppose, only that we would listen for him who sighs for us, who alongside the promise warned against idolatry, a jealous God who understands our primacy of self and will help us to be rid of it. The more we approach your glory, the less we appear to be, the less we are. And this is the necessary thing, that among all men, idols to themselves, came one who would fully deplete himself and ascend again to the nobility of heaven. There is an altar here, so pure and holy, upon which the Lamb was slain. There is a throne there, which already has judged us innocent of your blood. For how does a brother murder another? He does not. Those were the times of the past when we thought ourselves to be so important, so alone. And then we saw the purest being, and you enfolded us. Amen.